Yankees fans, settle in, because today's update starts with one of those stories that hits you right in the chest, the kind that reminds everyone why baseball is bigger than numbers on a sheet. While the offseason is still fresh and that early playoff exit keeps echoing in the Bronx, one of our starters spent the weekend far from the stadium lights and pressure, reconnecting with the place where everything began for him. And honestly, it might be exactly what he needed. Carlos Rodon, who has ridden one of the wildest emotional waves of the last few seasons, stepped away from the noise in New York and returned to North Carolina State University for a moment that carried a lot of meaning. Fans everywhere have been talking about how tough his postseason was, especially with the expectations placed on him. But away from the spotlight, he was honored in a way that put his entire journey into perspective. The university inducted him into its Baseball Ring of Honor, a major recognition for any player, and certainly a powerful reminder of the level he reached long before stepping onto a major league mound. The ceremony took place ahead of a huge college football matchup, and Rodon stood there alongside other former NC State standouts, soaking in everything. It was not about the frustration of the last playoffs, nor the disappointment of failing to advance with the Yankees. This was about legacy, about remembering why he became the pitcher he is today. He even shared a photo holding a framed piece of artwork showing him in his pinstripes next to an image from his college days. The caption on the post hinted at something deeper, something personal, almost like a message to himself about finding balance and remembering his foundation. Looking at what he did during his time at North Carolina State, it makes sense why the school wanted to give him this honor. He spent 3 seasons dominating on the mound, putting up a microscopic earned run average and striking out hitters at a ridiculous pace. Those performances eventually led to him being taken 3rd overall in the 2014 draft, the moment that officially pushed him into the big leagues. Now he is heading into the 4th year of a massive 6-year contract with the Yankees, and the expectations remain sky high. Even though the postseason did not go the way anyone hoped, his regular season performance in the Bronx was easily his best. He not only secured an all-star selection, but he also earned votes for the American League Cy Young Award, proving he was one of the most reliable arms on the staff. Over 33 starts, he kept his earned run average just a touch above 3 while collecting more than 200 strikeouts. Those numbers turned him into a strong 1-2 punch with Max Fried, who stepped into the role of team ace with authority. Together, they helped keep the Yankees near the top of the league all year long, even if the ending left everyone frustrated. And that is why this moment back at NC State matters. Sometimes players need to reset, need to remind themselves of who they were before the pressure, before the contracts, before the scrutiny that comes with wearing the most iconic uniform in baseball. The Yankees have not lifted a World Series trophy since 2009, and pitchers like Rodon were brought in specifically to help end that drought. The fact that he had such a strong season gives every fan a reason to believe he is not done improving. This visit back to his roots could be exactly the spark he needs heading into 2026. When you see a player step away from the noise and reconnect with the place that built him, it often signals that he is ready to come back sharper, hungrier, and more focused. And the team is going to need all of that, especially with the challenges building around the rest of the roster. If Rodon can take everything he accomplished during the regular season and level it up even further, the Yankees' rotation could be one of the most dangerous in the American League next year. So while the postseason heartache still stings, there is also this sense that he has more to give, that the chapter he is writing in New York has not reached its peak yet. What makes this moment even more compelling is how it arrives during a period of uncertainty for the Yankees lineup. There are huge decisions looming in the front office, major negotiations that could shape the next several seasons, and fans have been living through constant waves of rumors. But for Rodon, this quiet return to NC State came with clarity. It was not about contracts or expectations. It was about remembering what made him fall in love with the game. When you watch a pitcher go through the grind a long season, then step onto a college field with that same spark in his eyes that he had long before turning professional, you can tell that something inside him has been recharged. And honestly, that is exactly what the Yankees need right now. A pitcher who remembers his roots is a pitcher who understands what it takes to stay grounded in the face of big market pressure. The road to a championship is long, and the Yankees know better than anyone that star players need more than talent. They need resilience. That is why this trip stands out so much. It was not a victory lap. It was a moment of reconnection, a way to reset the compass before diving into another demanding major league season. Watching how he approaches the next year will say a lot about where this team is headed, because a locked-in Rodon changes everything about how opponents prepare for the Yankees. Now that we covered the emotional chapter surrounding Carlos Rodon, the conversation shifts to something far more tense, the kind of off-season storyline that keeps fans refreshing their feeds at all hours. The Yankees are staring down one of the biggest decisions of the next few years, and it revolves around a player who transformed the lineup the moment he slipped on the pinstripes. Cody Bellinger changed the entire feel of the batting order last season, bringing balance, athleticism, and a left-handed swing made for the Bronx. Everyone saw how quickly he adapted, how natural he looked both at first base and in the outfield, and how much smoother the offense flowed when he was locked in. Yet as good as he was on the field, the real story picked up steam the moment the season ended, because he officially opted out of his contract and entered free agency. That single decision immediately sent the fan base into a mix of panic and hope. Panic because losing him would create a massive hole that the Yankees already struggled to fill after losing Juan Soto the previous offseason. Hope because early predictions suggested the Yankees were still the frontrunners to bring him back. Rumors started pouring in, and one of the most prominent projections claimed that the front office was preparing an offer that could come close to a $168 million deal. That number alone shows how much the organization values him. They watched how he handled the pressure, how he performed in clutch situations, and how his versatility saved them on defense more times than anyone could count. When a player contributes that much on both sides of the ball, it becomes almost impossible to justify letting him leave. That was the optimistic angle. The idea that the Yankees had a straightforward path to re-signing Bellinger made it feel like the offseason might actually go smoothly for once. But the optimism did not last long, because almost immediately after those reports surfaced, a far darker and more complicated picture began to form. It started with whispers about the involvement of Scott Boras, the most aggressive and unpredictable agent in baseball. Anyone who follows the sport knows that Boras is not interested in comfort, loyalty, or sentiment. He is interested in maximizing value, and he has a long history of dragging negotiations out until the very last possible moment. Once insiders started discussing how Boras was approaching Bellinger's free agency, the tone around the Yankees fan base shifted dramatically. Suddenly, the $168 million projection did not look like a ceiling anymore. It looked like the floor. Some insiders even suggested that Bellinger's camp could angle for a number that stretches into a range most fans thought was pure exaggeration. The idea that this negotiation could creep toward $450 million sent shockwaves everywhere. Not because Bellinger is not an elite player, but because no one expected the bidding war to escalate to such extremes. That massive figure served as a wake-up call for fans who believed the Yankees still held some kind of advantage, simply because Bellinger played well in the Bronx and seemed comfortable in pinstripes. That belief evaporated quickly once analysts started breaking down how little an inside track matters when Boras steps into the room. The message was blunt: there are no friendly discounts anymore. There's no loyalty to a team simply because the player enjoyed his time there. The brand power of the Yankees, something that once felt like the ultimate negotiation weapon, does not carry the weight it used to. The last decade painted that picture clearly as teams like the Los Angeles Dodgers outspent and outperformed New York in nearly every category. That shift in baseball's financial landscape means the Yankees can no longer rely on mystique or history to close deals. They must fight for every player, even the ones who already proved they fit perfectly in the lineup. Hearing that the Yankees brand is not what it once was hit fans in a sore spot. For decades, players dreamed of joining the franchise. The uniform, the championships, the prestige, all of it carried a gravitational pull unmatched by any other team. But modern baseball is different. The market is faster, bigger, and more ruthless, and agents know how to capitalize on that environment. As negotiations stretch deeper into the winter, the Yankees find themselves facing the possibility that retaining Bellinger will require a financial commitment that reaches a level they did not originally anticipate. And that is where the tension lies. The team cannot afford to lose him. Not after the inconsistency that hit the lineup last postseason, and not after failing to replace the production lost when Soto left. As the days go by, the pressure builds. Every new report changes the mood. One moment predictions say the Yankees will secure a deal. The next moment, insiders claim the numbers required to make that happen are reaching astronomical heights. Through it all, the one thing that remains consistent is the importance of Bellinger to the team's future. Losing him would force the Yankees to rethink the entire structure of next season's lineup. Bringing him back would solidify the foundation of an offense that already has several key pieces in place. The outcome of this negotiation could determine whether the Yankees enter 2026 as true contenders or as a team still searching for its identity as the league evolves around them. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. Word spread through the baseball world in a way that felt more like a late-night whisper than an official announcement. Edwin Díaz, the electric arm who wants to find the final outs in Queens, is said to have walked away from the Mets and emerged in pinstripes as the newest closer for the Yankees. No statement from the clubs, no carefully crafted press release, just a growing buzz that refuses to die down. And in New York, where rumors breathe as loudly as the crowds, this one has already taken on a life of its own. Clubhouse chatter suggests that Diaz cleared out his Mets locker quietly, almost abruptly, leaving teammates stunned and staffers scrambling for explanations. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, sources claim he was spotted touring the Yankees' facilities, moving with the calm certainty of a man stepping into a role he believes was meant for him. The idea of Diaz jogging out to the mound in the Bronx, lights blazing and adrenaline pumping, has ignited endless debates among fans who aren't sure whether to believe what they're hearing, or brace themselves for an announcement that could reshape the late-inning balance of power in the city. Some insiders insist the move stems from months of quiet tension, a friction that had grown behind closed doors but never surfaced publicly. Others paint a different picture, one where the Yankees made an irresistible offer at just the right moment, opening a door Diaz had been tempted to walk through for far longer than anyone realized. What's undeniable is the ripple effect. Mets supporters are rattled, Yankees followers are ecstatic, and everyone else is glued to every hint, every slip of the tongue, every mysterious social media post. Until something is officially confirmed, this remains a rumor swirling through New York's baseball bloodstream. But if the whispers prove true, the Burrows may soon witness one of the most dramatic bullpen shifts the rivalry has seen in years. Edwin Díaz trading Queens blue for timeless Yankee white, with all the shockwaves that move would bring. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.